Well, welcome to the Hunt Blog 2015 webisodes. Thanks again for tuning in this year. We've got some great stuff planned for you this year. You know, we looked at a lot of film over the off season, and we're watching a lot of the hunting shows that we enjoy watching. And a common thing that kept coming up was that the shows we enjoyed the most are the ones that told the story the best. The ones that showed all the hard work and the planning and some of the strategy that went into harvesting the deer, much more so than the size of the deer themselves. So this year we really wanted to focus on trying to tell that story. And bringing you an inside look at what we do each year to get ready for the season. So this is what this first hunt is all about. It was a buck I took on a new property we had access to, so I hope you enjoy it. Thanks again for tuning in. Well, good evening. It's October the 1st, 2015. It's hard to believe, but opening day is finally here. We're pretty excited. As you can see, we've been doing a lot of work in preparation for this year. For anyone who's not a bow hunter, it's hard to really comprehend how much work that really goes into getting prepared for deer season, but we do a lot. Spend a lot of time scouting. We've tracked a lot of maps, and we think we really got the properties nailed down this year. Had the boys down last weekend to help us hang some tree stands. We're actually having a couple of the other members of the Hunt Blog crew come down for our annual hunt weekend, so there's going to be 7 of us in total in the tree stand, so we had to hang a couple extra sets on a couple of our properties, but we think we got them in pretty good place. We've been running trail cameras all summer at all 3 of our properties. I'm getting some good pictures of some deer, so we're pretty excited for the season. Now, tomorrow being my opening day, October 2nd, my first day to get out hunting. I'm not usually a huge proponent of hunting in the mornings, especially early in the season. You know, you're just not hedging your bets very well. Better chance of blowing deer out that are heading back to bedding areas on your way in than you are of actually seeing one. The exception kind of into this rule is the spot I'm going to hunt tomorrow. I've got a great wind for it. The field has it's about 50 acres of corn that has a creek running down the north side. So I'm going to be able to sneak in around the corn. I'm going to have the wind in my favor without spooking any deer. They won't see me, they won't see my light, and hopefully get hung along that creek bed far enough in that I might catch some deer getting back to the bed a little bit later in the morning. This is the first time I've hunted this spot. I'm going to try to set up on the edge of the field, make it a bit of an observation stand as well, so I can kind of see what the deer are doing, try and catch some deer movement, do a bit of scouting as well, look for any scrapes that might be already getting started. So I'm excited. It's always good to be in the tree stand. I've got an additional tag there that's separate from our other hunting spots, so it's going to be fair game. If it's brown, it's down tomorrow morning, so if we get lucky we might get one. It's going to be cold, but 5 degrees Celsius. Winds will be pretty heavy, but we'll see what we can do. Well, it's morning, October the 2nd, 2015. It's my first morning out hunting a new spot here that I haven't hunted before. I came in this morning. I basically only scouted it from Google Maps, but I picked out this spot as being a good spot. As you can see, the cornfield here has really been being hit hard by the deer. It's pretty matted down back in this back corner. Just one of those spots that looked good on Google Maps. Hunted a northeast wind this morning, and for anyone who knows has hunted a northeast wind before, you know you can't really trust it. So as I'm getting set up, I got busted by a buck about 20 yards back in the bush behind me, but those are the breaks. I knew that was a risk coming in here, so that's it. It's about 7:15. Stick it out here and see if anything comes out down these paths on the way back to the bedding area. Well, I'd be lying if I didn't say I was disappointed after that first hunt. You know, you put all this time and effort into planning how to hunt a spot after a certain deer, and you get busted setting up on the first day out. You know, the last thing you want to do is go educating deer about your spot. But you know, it was a live and learn situation. We try not to get down on ourselves too much, and we learned an important lesson there. It was time to get back in the saddle, and we'll take you to the next hunt a few afternoons later.
Alright, it's October the 15th. It's only our second hunt of the season. I had a pretty busy early October getting everything set up at all our spots, so this is only the second time we've had a chance to get out. I'm in a new spot we just got permission on. We don't know the spot all that well. It's our second time hunting it. Tonight I'm hunting over a river bottom that's surrounded by some mature pine plantation and then a nice big cornfield. It just looks like a good spot for bucks to be working some scrapes and rubs. I haven't actually identified any. I didn't want to go disturbing too much down here, but it just looks like a good travel route for them. So we'll see what happens. It's turkey season too, so if a turkey comes by, the old bear bow is going to bark. So we'll see what we can do tonight. Hopefully some of our work in scouting this property's paid off, and I'll be able to get one on the ground tonight. Stay with us.
Well, that was an exciting afternoon hunt. That creek bottom I think has a lot of promise. We saw a couple of does that cruised by. Didn't quite come within range, but still really neat to see, and it told me that if there were does hanging out in that area, then some bucks would be there too. We were just starting to get into the pre-rut. It was kind of getting into late October, and I knew the bucks would be starting to scent track does pretty soon, so we were excited about that, and looking forward to the next couple of weeks. Well, we've been out of the stand for a few days. We let the spot cool down. I don't like the pressure of my spots too much. I hunted a couple of different places after a couple other big deer that we had on film, but hadn't had any luck. So it was back to this new spot that you saw on the first day. I was hunting over the corner of this cornfield, and I thought it was October 25th. It was starting to get towards more with bringing it a little bit more daytime movement of the bucks. We were seeing more bucks on daytime trail camera. So we hope that we might get lucky, and we'll take it to that hunt now.
to you when I get my composure back a bit.
Alright, we've settled down a little bit here now. Come back to the truck, dropped off some of my gear, picked up my field dressing kit, my game pegs, and we're on our way to go recover this buck. I found the blood trail. Looks like good lung blood, nice and foamy. I didn't go too much farther on that, no sense even like risking pushing him, so I'd walk back to the truck, drop my gear off. By the time I get back there, he'll have had an hour, but I don't think he was going anywhere. As I said initially, the shot was a little bit forward, but I got good penetration, and it was just right at that front shoulder. I think I might have actually put that muzzy broadhead through his front shoulder. I got a pass through, so yeah, I'm pretty confident he didn't go very far. I thought I saw him going down just on the other side of a little hill down that river bottom, so we'll get out there and see. Okay, stay with us. You know, a lot of people talk about the preparation for the hunt, you know, pre-scouting, hanging trail cameras, playing the wind, scent control, and how important that is. You know, all those things are important, but the blood trailing is a lost art and probably the most important part of the hunt. I see a lot of guys make some common errors. I'm actually in the process of beta testing a blood trail, deer tracking, decision-making flow sheet that's going to come out next fall. We're beta testing it this year. So anyway, one thing I wanted to point out, people talk a lot about, you know, it's bright red blood, or it's lung blood, or it's liver blood. This is how you know it's it's lung blood. You see these bubbles? See the bubbles in there? That's how you know it's lung blood. The color, you know, lots of things can look arterial, can look venous, can look pulmonary, but that is lung blood. That's blood coming out the nose. I know it's a little bit graphic, but I just wanted to show that. Anyway, we'll touch base when we get to the deer. Well, just found our buck here. Wasn't a very long blood trail. It's fortunate I was able to put a nice clean shot on him. Hit him a little bit far forward, but the exit wound looks perfect. He's not a monster by any means, but you know, he's going to put some meat on the freezer. Those back straps are going to be tasty, and it's a great start to our season. You know, he presented me with a good ethical shot. This is an area where I have an additional seal that I'm just looking to use to put some meat in the freezer, so this guy will do quite nicely for that. Yeah, looking forward to bringing you more. Thanks for tuning into the Hunt Blog. Well, that was a really exciting hunt. You know, we were pretty pleased to have a buck on the ground already and on film. We had some meat in the freezer. We were going to be eating well for our big upcoming Hunt Blog weekends, and we're really looking forward to the action heating up during the rut. Thanks again for tuning into the Hunt Blog webisodes, and I hope you like what we're producing this season.